Hi, I'm Peter Knight. I want to talk in this video on pitching about the dynamics of pitching. So the dynamics include things like balance, overall swing tempo, and rhythm. Rhythm is one of the keys, and when we get to it, sort of take particular notice of it because it's a thing that most players don't get right, and it's actually the cause of so many mishits. But if we start with balance, so my balance when I swing back and through is going to stay mainly on my left foot. So when I set myself up, I've got my body leaning just gently to the left, and as the club swings back and through, my balance stays mostly on the left foot. So as a guide, I might set myself with, say, 70% of my balance on my left foot at address. When the club swings back, it might be about 60 or 65 now. I come back to address is probably 80, back to impact, sorry, 80. And then as I go through now, I've probably got about 90 or 95% pressure. But again, my body stayed centered. The second thing is tempo. If we look at the time it takes to get from address to the end of the backswing, and this is regardless of whether you've got a short pitch shot or a longer pitch shot, this will apply. The time that it takes to get from address to the end of my backswing, let's say I count that as 3, 1, 2, 3. Then my count from the end of my backswing to impact is 1. Now what most players do with their pitching is it's almost like the downswing count is too fast because they're thinking, they've been told they need to accelerate the club into impact, and it causes all sorts of problems. If we think that all the club really wants to do is fall to vertical, it's not going to do it quickly. It'll just fall. So my feeling is that when the club goes back and through, I just want to let my arms and the club fall, and that'll keep the movement smooth. Any attempt to try and accelerate the club too quickly is going to lead to me changing how I'm coordinating the movement. The third thing I want to talk about is just the timing of the movement. How do we sequence everything? When the club swings down and through, particularly in the downswing, I feel like my arms, my club, and my body are sort of all moving at about the same rate. Now, one way to explain that is if I hold the club right down here near the head of the shaft, the head of the club, when I swing down, the grip is, my wrists have hinged a little bit, but again, it's only because of the swinging weight of the club. As the club approaches impact, the grip is now very close to my side, but then when I swing through, it doesn't actually hit my side as I go through. If I try and accelerate too much and use my hands, then I'll hit myself, which I don't want to do. So arms and club are falling, body's turning to the target. My feeling is that everything works at the same rate. Very different to a full swing where you want to sequence the movement differently to get power, but pitching's a little different. So now when I set myself up, my balance is left. I've got that sense of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, and I feel like everything is moving together to give me the shot that I'm after.